Well, hello, everyone. This is Wilson Cole, president of Adams, Evans, and Ross and Backdoor Hires, and I am joined with, in my opinion, an absolute legend in the recruiting industry. I'm joined with Bert Miller. He has been a longtime franchise office owner of MRI and has recently, I guess recently in the last year or so, has acquired MRI Corporate. How are you doing, Bert?
I'm doing terrific. Thanks for the kind words. I appreciate that. You give me a lot to live up to.
Well, you certainly earned them. I've been in this industry a long time, and you supersede me. So you must have started when you were 18. So anyhow, well, Bert, before we get into the now, I always find it's always good to kind of get grounded with. I mean, how did you get into recruiting? Was this something that was always a passion, or did you just find yourself on that path?
No, my background, I'll just give you a quick overview. My background, I was blessed to be raised by a couple of awesome parents. Neither one, had neither one finished high school. One didn't even, didn't get out of 8th grade due to personal reasons with my mother's father, my grandfather. And so, but I share that because they were amazing people, and the values and things that they provided to me, and the work ethic that was instilled upon me at an early age. And they were very bright people. They just didn't have the money, or I don't know if they really had the right direction to get into university to expand upon, what they were doing, if they had so chosen to finish their high school education. But nonetheless, they did an amazing job building a great childhood and raising me and my brother. And so I'll start right there, because I think that is the foundation, and we all need a foundation of somebody that somebody gives you that launching pad, and you can either listen and take it or not. Mm-hmm. So they all started there. Then I was the first one on either side of both of our families, as you might expect in that situation, to go to college. They put me in a great position to have a chance. My dad introduced me to athletics, which built confidence and allowed me to go to college. And then when I came out of school, I went to work for. I interviewed with the Gallo Winery and got into their training program. And then they put me in a distributorship in Indianapolis, Indiana, as I grew up in northern Indiana. And so in a very small town. And so I ended up in Indianapolis as a young guy coming out of school, working, selling Gallo products. And then 4 years later, Wilson, a recruiter called me that recruited me and gave me the opportunity to go to Revlon. And so I went to Revlon, and I spent all my time in New York City doing all that stuff that you would do in corporate America. I had amazing mentors, thank God, because I'm grateful, because I've been, very, very fortunate to be going down the right path with some really awesome people. And so I spent 7 years at Revlon, had multiple positions as a young executive, and my children were 9 and 5, and I wanted to coach them. Mm-hmm. And this is around when I was 32 years old. And so I looked in the industry. I was doing some research, and I said the recruiting industry is going to have a supply-demand issue about right now, which we do. Sure. And so I said, hey, okay, supply and demand, business 101. Go where there's demand and there's not a lot of supply. And so I got into recruitment and started from just dead scratch. And thank goodness MRI was there, because they were able to really help me get off the ground and launch and help train me like they trained over 25,000 other recruiters.
In the recruiting industry, I'm absolutely amazed at how many recruiters I talk to, and they always start with, I got started with MRI, had all the great training, and whether they stayed with MRI or they went in a different direction, MRI was the epicenter from the start for so many folks. So you started with your franchise, and I know that you've had great success there, placing a tremendous amount of folks. Now, you deal with a lot of recruiters. You deal with a lot of people just in general. What do you think the couple of key factors are that make a successful recruiter?
Well, I think first and foremost is there's a certain amount of grit and will. I mean, you got to have the attributes, but there's a lot of people with the attributes. You can line five people that have all the appropriate attributes, the basic ones everybody wants. Certain level of intelligence, being able to communicate well, have demonstrated backgrounds and they're responsible humans. They have all those attributes. You can line five of them up, like I said, Wilson, and maybe only one or two will be as successful in this industry and be a true recruitment and talent advisor and succeed. The issue is that I never know. I mean, none of us really, I don't think, really have the secret bullet
Okay.
or magic, the magic sauce. To say, okay, which one or two of those five are it, right?
Yeah.
And so that starts with that. And then once you're in the business, Wilson, you've been coming to enough of our conferences and been around other conferences. You've met more people in the industry than probably I have, and have access to many of the owners, even more so than I have, not just in MRI, but beyond, to your point you made earlier. And what's really interesting is that when I think about, and I look at the people that really survived, that came into the business and didn't have a background in it, to your point, MRI was kind of the epicenter of really launching people's careers. The one thing that kind of stands out to me is endurance.
Okay.
And so, it's the right energy and passion. And yes, the attributes are amazing. You got to check those boxes. But it really comes down to grit and willpower and endurance. And,
Yeah.
I don't want to take advantage of our recent situation in terms of what happened out in California with Kobe. But what I would say is one of the things he did have was, he talks about this Mamba mentality, which I don't know the true definition of Mamba mentality is, but I think that's what a great recruiter must have.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's the hunger to succeed. I've we've seen a lot of folks, I'm sure through the years, at least I have, where you thought this guy is an absolute setup. He's going to have success, and for whatever reason, he doesn't. And then you see the one guy that nobody would have bet on, and he's the one that has huge success. Well,
Real quick on that, Wilson.
Sure.
What I would say is when you think about that a bit, and you don't know, you really don't know that success, right? I mean, you don't know who's going to have it or not. But I think the people that are less transactional, not thinking about doing a deal and the fees and commissions, that those are only the byproducts of doing something that you have a passion for. I mean, we do really, really important work. And that's why I try to still upon my firm down in Miami, Protus Global, the recruiters areas, we do really important work. And that's the why we're in business.
Sure.
And that the fee and all the other stuff, that's just the ultimate outcome. That's a byproduct of what we do.
Yep. No, and I agree with you 100%. If you start taking a look at the dollar signs versus bringing the value to the table, then the dollar signs won't ever show up, and nor should they. So I certainly understand what you're saying there. Right now we're in the harvest. Everybody, if you're a recruiter right now and you're not making money, then you probably want to take a look at a different profession, in my opinion, because it's definitely a recruiter's market. Eventually, though, I've been through 3 recessions. I know you probably have been through that many or more. What does a recruiting firm need to be doing right now to mitigate when the economy does excel? What are your suggestions?
I'd say advisory. And what I mean by advisory, that can encompass a few things. It can be data. It can be talent analytics. It can be helping your clients, create branding for themselves, employment branding, because, many of our clients, especially we work down at Protus, we work a lot in the consumer products brand. They're outstanding consumer branding.
Sure.
They're not. Most of them are not really that great at employment branding, and so that provides that provides opportunities to better instill and build connectivity tissue with your clients, and then offer up a solution. The world of work, Wilson, is changing.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is that the average lifespan of a direct placement or a perm role is just under 4 years, about 3.5 years. And now the contingent work, or a contractor, professional contractor, is now over 2 years. So you're now seeing a convergence between perm and contract in terms of, tenure in a company. And so what we need to do is bring solutions to our clients. And then I saved this one for last because, yes, many of us are, in fact, enjoying some terrific success, right? We're having a lot of success, and people are making money, and times are good, and we have the wind behind, the wind behind our sails. Excuse me. But they're feeling the friction. I mean, as I talk to people, I know there's friction that people are feeling because I feel it in my firms. And that friction is, a lot of people don't know what it is. They're just going, man, we're killing it, man. But it's just doesn't feel the same as it did, back in early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, or mid 2000s. Not feeling the same. And the reason that is that we have this thing called digital, and we have this. We are asking our teams to make, or had been asking our teams to make 70, 80 to 100 calls, and nobody's really answering the phone.
Yep.
And there's this tool out there that we all have, most of us have purchased. It started in 2002, and has continued to elevate and provide a tremendous platform for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same point in time, that platform, along with other platforms, is giving a voice. And so you have to be able to be a better storyteller. We used to tell the story by phone. Now you got to be able to tell the story through video, through podcasting, and really connect with your audience and start to drive inbound. The phone is still important. The phone will always be important because we're in a high touch business, but it's no longer a phone first business. It's probably a phone third business. There's other connectivity that you're building in order to get the right person on the phone.
Yep. I mean, and that's interesting you say that. I read an article probably about 4 years ago, and it made a change with us. Is in the olden days, you were the sales rep was the first point of contact. They'd pick up the phone, get information, they'd research you 2 or 3 firms, and then 2 weeks later you'd have the follow up, and then somebody would get the deal. Those numbers are almost reversed. They've already done their research. They've already done all of the vetting. By the time they pick up the phone and call you, it's already it's either to place or to get additional information, action steps to delineate you between one or maybe one of your other competitors. But by the time they pick up the phone and talk to you, they're ready to start moving forward versus.
Well, yeah, I mean, Wilson, you saw that at our United meeting last fall. I believe you were there, and so you saw that, and I brought in a great friend of mine who came back to MRI. Who was, when I say come back, his parents owned an MRI office, and then he did, and then it left for a number of years. So Joe Mullings, who I've known over 20 years, and I really consider him an outstanding friend. If you heard what he did and what he talked about, he's probably articulates it better than anybody, including myself, into the marketplace about being a gateway and connector and what that really means. And what he really means by that is in your little sector that you're doing business. Now we both have been going down parallel roads and understand that digital is kind of a place we need to go. But what he's done, he's really taken the ball and ran with it more so than really anybody, in my opinion, especially in our industry. That he has a firm, right? It's not like he's a marketing guy doing this, and he was an old school recruiter like all of us, and he's created this digital platform where really he has developed a system that has allowed him to be aspirational, be inspirational. He's terrific at dropping the breadcrumbs out into LinkedIn and other platforms to get people's attention. He tells a story really well. And when it comes back to the point you just made, and that is when companies actually need somebody, in his industry, Joe has been giving. And guess what? When they need something,
Yep.
who they think of? They think of Joe, and then he drives inbound. So he's been terrific at that. And I think a lot of us can take some lessons from that too.
That's an excellent point. Well, in mentioning coming back to MRI, in the last, I guess it's been has it been a year and a half? You acquired corporate, which
Yeah.
I tell you what, I know everybody associated with MRI is excited. I'm excited because we have so many clients here with MRI. Kind of walk us down as much as you can that path, and also you're taking MRI down from an outsider looking in, you're taking them down kind of I don't want to say a new direction, but you're taking them down a more amplified direction. Kind of what is that vision? How did you acquire it? And then also what is your vision for MRI going forward?
Yeah, well, I mean, the way that first of all, it does feel like a year and a half, right? But it's only been like 7 months or
Oh
so.
my goodness.
Yeah. So it was an official. That's the official date was May 28th, but I didn't actually get into the seat until June 18th, 17th or 18th. So I would have just finished my 7th month in the seat. And then the way that the deal itself, obviously I've been connected with MRI for some time.
Sure.
I think multiple people inquired about MRI. I mean, I know multiple people inquired about MRI, including even some other owners within MRI and/or owners that in fact left the system and was looking to come back through an acquisition. I was fortunate enough, man, to just number one, I've been around. I have a lot of friends in the network, and I think I was able to talk to the people that were necessary to talk to, that they bought into the fact that I had some reasonable amount of credibility with a good majority of the owners, which really helped. And I think and I had a couple of people in my corner. Believe me, I had a couple of people in my corner to help the deal go down, because a deal like this doesn't go down, even though there were some complicated steps in acquiring MRI. So that's not my forte day in, day out. And so I had a couple friends and people that were involved that allowed to help make that happen. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, one of the things that the word that I've always heard to describe you, Bert, is you're genuine. I mean, good, bad, or indifferent, you're genuine, you get what you get. And I think that, my personal opinion is the folks that were in your corner because they knew again, they could trust what you were saying, because it's been a career of being genuine and upfront. And I think in my personal opinion, I think anybody coming into the recruiting industry can take that integrity question and use you as an example. So well, like I said, you've done a great job.
Yeah, man. Thank you for them. Thank you for that. And I think that's true. And keep in mind, this chair today is here because of how we kind of started our discussion around where I was raised and the opportunities that I've been given,
sure.
And also the opportunities that I've earned. And so, like I said, I'm really grateful for that. I think the other thing too, many of these guys are my friends or very, very, very strong acquaintances. And I think they do believe me. I also have a couple offices, so they know that I'm thinking like an owner in many cases, even if some things they may not necessarily agree with. They're giving me the benefit of the doubt on some decisions. But like any good business people, I mean, what's going to be important and what's really allowed us to kind of gain some momentum is the fact that what we say is what we've been doing. And as the owners of those network member offices, at the end of the day, Wilson, they may love me, they may like me, whatever the case may be, but I have to go deliver for them.
You have to perform.
When I say that's not me individually, because there's no single individual that's going to do this. It's going to take MRI corporate. It's going to take people like you and our vendors to be part of the process, and of course, and most especially, is our network members.
Absolutely. Well, what does that future? What is that vision that you see for MRI? I've seen it at a distance. There again, I've never recruited. I've always been on the service side of it. So kind of walk me through. It looks like you have, at least, and correct me if I'm incorrect, but it looks like there were like 3 tiers of services that you guys are providing for the industry. What does that vision look like?
Yeah, I mean, many people confuse Management Recruiters International. MRI is really born from Management Recruiters International that started in 1965. So I'll start by saying we are a 55-year-old startup. That's the mindset.
Okay.
The other thing I would say is a lot of people misinterpret that MRI is perhaps competition, but I can tell you we don't make any placements. We place no one. We do no searches. We don't. All we do is provide tools, services, training, and development, and those kind of outcomes for our member owners. And now, we launched Thrive, which is a bit controversial. I have a lot of people behind me on that. I have some people that are still skeptical regarding Thrive, but it allows us to provide some of our services, not all, but things that people really need that are maybe independent firms, and they don't know where to turn or where to go. We have some outstanding services and training, organizational effectiveness, and leadership, and marketing communications that are very high. Talking about the digital platform and storytelling, there's going to be things that they will be able to capture and acquire for purchase, of course, for them, and certainly not at any rates that our members would have, if they, if they have to purchase at all. And what that does, and when I try to tell owners, is we need to grow, because we need to change the structure of the way our members are engaged with corporate. Those old school contracts are really, really old, and they're really, they don't provide the value that we need to provide. We just provide different value. We need more, what I would call more flexible right fit services. And so with that being said, it gives us an opportunity to sell some product external that's not anything different than we've already done. We've already trained over 25,000 recruiters. So
Absolutely.
we're not training our competition. We already have trained our competition. And so, but I think the big opportunity there is for those that get a chance to engage us, see and touch what we do. It then gives us an opportunity as providing solutions to bring them over to membership.
Kind of almost the top, I would assume the top of your funnel. It's kind of like, for years, yeah, anybody that started using the iPhone realized, man, that phone's pretty good. I wonder how their computers are. And it just kind of mushroomed from there.
Well, yeah. And then, that one of the other services that we have, Wilson, is certainly contract staffing. Some people similar to us, they offer back office support, and in some cases it has favorable pricing. In other scenarios, the pricing is not as favorable. But the reason it's important that I think to understand what we do is we have contract people on staff that help you get started. They consult with you. You can ask them questions. They can take care of problems. We do the funding.
Okay.
And then our back offices through an alliance that we have, a very strong alliance that we have with People 2.0. Mm-hmm. And so by us doing that, people that want to get in the contract staffing business are not just trying it. We we have core training that they can take. We have our team that can consult with them that come from the industry, and provide them hands-on help where needed. Yep. And we also fund it for them.
And so it sounds, so basically the 3 products are going to be the Thrive, which is the training, and of course the franchise of the direct hire, and then with the contract. Now with the contract, is that something that is a standalone, or is that exclusively for MRI franchises, or is that something that someone could buy into outside of the MRI office?
Yeah, you can come in and be part of our network through a contract staffing model. We also have an alliance, if you just want to come and work with us, we can manage that for you as well. And we of course would continue to use People 2.0 to do that. And I just think that that partnership is really good because what they market themselves as is EOR, AOR. That's all they do. They have very strong integrity of their supply chain, as do we.
Sure.
Is that we're not a recruitment firm. We
Sure.
are a professional services firm that help our network members become better at what they do in terms of their individual sectors, and they become that gateway and connector to their clients and candidates, and we're helping them do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Bert, if somebody wanted to take advantage of one of the offerings, how would they get in touch with your organization, and where would they start that process?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things. Our initiatives right now in the short term is training and development. We're building our training and redesigning our whole training and development arm. Then obviously the digital platform that I talked about, and of course sales. We did not have what I would call if at all, a strong sales department, which we're investing mightily into sales. So and then I think of sales, I just think it's solutions. We're not strong on people. But the person heading our sales up, his name's Alex Reif, Reiff. And so if anybody out there would like to just inquire, you can go to our website. You can email me. You can go to LinkedIn. There's a lot of ways to get a hold of us, but Alex would be a great contact, and that's that would be alex.reif, Reiff, and at MRInetwork.com. So that's how they get a hold of them.
Well, excellent. Well, yeah, I tell you what, I wish you guys continued success. It's always, I watch business, and this is my wife, it drives my wife nuts because I go into a restaurant and I watch, the different processes, and it's like, I wonder what their margins are. Their systems could be better. And it's like, dear God, can I just sit here and eat my dinner? And so I've always watched business as a spectator, almost like a sports spectator, and watching what you guys are doing over there with MRI. I'm intrigued. I'm fascinated, and I've always been impressed with what you guys were doing. So I'm certainly wishing you guys continued success. And if anybody needs to should have a desire to reach out to MRI, great organization. It sounds like Alex Reif is the first point of contact. Do you have any closing statements or anything that you want to share before we wrap up the interview?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Wilson, it comes down to the fact that as we're doing this and helping create this professional services piece, you just have to do it the right way. And what I mean by that is, you got to recognize what you are, and and MRI has a storied history, and we went through 10, 12, 15 years of turbulence. And what I told my team is, take the handcuffs off and let's run. That's the first thing. But more importantly, let's embrace the fact of what occurred.
Yes. Let's
embrace it. Let's understand the situation. Let's build solutions. And I share that with you because everybody loves a great comeback story, and they love a great comeback story by a brand that has really been the frontier leader in an industry.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys, in my opinion, everybody, as far as I know, came after you guys, and so to a large degree, they always kind of patterned after, or and they say the best part of flattery is mimicking.
Yep.
And so
Right.
Everybody came after you guys. So you were certainly, so we're rooting for you. There's no doubt in my mind, MRI's best days are well ahead of it. And I certainly wish you guys the best.
Well, as Alan Armstrong used to say, man, we're getting ready. We're in the best place. We're at the right time, at the right place, and we'll see those halcyon days again.
Well, outstanding. Bert, thank you for joining me. And, like I said, certainly wish you guys continued success.